His Excellency Stephen Vasciannie, as everyone knows by now, is the Ambassador of Jamaica, extraordinary and plenipotentiary. Oh yes, His Excellency is the Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of Jamaica to the United States of America. And he has a dual role. He also serves as Jamaica's permanent representative to the Organization of American States. So if you don't see him too often, you know why. Yes, sir. He has two jobs. There is at least one Caribbean embassy in Washington that has two ambassadors to do the same jobs that our one ambassador does. Okay? And soon after he arrived in the United States in 2012, he had to jump right in and serve as chairman of the OAS Permanent Council. That was from July to September. But Ambassador Vasciannie had an exemplary track record long before entering the Jamaican diplomatic service. He had served, or he was serving at the time, as the principal of the Norman Manley Law School at the University of the West Indies at Mona. And he also served as a member of the United Nations International Law Commission and as the editor of the West Indian Law Journal. Ambassador Vasciannie was appointed Professor of International Law by the University of the West Indies in 2002 and was head of the Department of Government at the university from 2004 to 2007. He has also served as Deputy Solicitor General of Jamaica and has represented Jamaica on matters concerning international law, air policy issues, and human rights, among other things. Ambassador Vasciannie is known as one of Jamaica's foremost experts on aviation law. Ambassador Vasciannie attended the universities of the West Indies, University of Oxford, and the University of Cambridge, and served as a research fellow at St. Catherine's College in Cambridge. It is with utmost pleasure that I introduce His Excellency Stephen Vasciannie, Ambassador of Jamaica to the United States of America.
Ambassador Curtis Ward and Mrs. Ward. And thank you, Ambassador Ward, for setting me up. I'm still trying to figure out the meaning of the word plenipotentiary. Mrs. Joan Beckford, Mrs. Christina Myrie, Mrs. Leonie Bloomfield Benjamin, Commissioner Dr. Karen Francis, Bishop Dobson James and Pastor James, Mr. Rick Nugent, Ms. Margaret Ford, Ms. Venice Mundell Harvey, members of the diplomatic staff of the Jamaican Embassy, specially invited guests, religious leaders, poets, Mr. Music, ladies and gentlemen, good evening and happy International Women's Day. As I said, Ambassador Ward set me up, but I should clarify. I have two jobs, but I don't get two pay. It is my honor and my privilege to join you in celebration this evening. Ms. Joan Beckford, Ms. Benjamin, and their colleagues and members of the Gaithersburg community are to be commended for putting together this wonderful evening for us all. It is also a pleasure for me to thank you on behalf of my wife Lisa and the members of the diplomatic staff of the Jamaican Embassy for inviting us to meet you and to share in this splendid, spectacular occasion. This is the most pleasurable part of my job. Earlier in the proceedings, Ambassador Ward mentioned that I had been to a number of places and it's only fitting that I should be here. I agree with that, but I should tell you, here are some of the places I've been to and you'll see my thinking. Los Angeles, Atlanta, Florida. Whoa. And last June, in keeping with the warm theme, because I kind of said, I'm not going anywhere cold until the summer. So my assistant arranged for me to go to Minnesota in June. It snowed. So I was sort of saying, with respect to tonight's function, I want to go when we have broken the back of the winter. And last week, when the cold came and hit us again, I said, I wonder what Saturday coming is going to be like. But I see Ms. Beckford has organized for us to have a wonderful day. Now, the function, the program refers to dining with His Excellency me. So if you see me here start to drop out, it's swelling the head, swelling, that you are paid this honor. I would like to thank the entertainers who have treated us so nicely so far tonight. Now, by my reading of the program, and I know this is not right, but there is a poem in Jamaican dialect by Miss Carrie Williams, and then there's a song selection by Miss Carrie Williams. Is it that there are two Carrie Williams? Or there's a... Anyway, the first lady, the first one who I thought was Carrie Williams initially, that nice lady at the back in the black. What I would say is, her voice is brilliant and her dancing is enticing. And I am sure she didn't leave that little boy in Kingston town because he's an old pirate. I don't know about that. I mean, the music was brilliant, but I was wondering about why you left the fellow in Kingston. And Ms. Nana Farika, I was won over from very early when I heard you wrote Life with the Littles. Because I remember as a boy I won't say everything. I remember as a boy, some time ago, before most of you were born, Life with the Littles. And it was particularly memorable because at that time there weren't so many Jamaican shows on TV. So when you see a show with Jamaicans talking with the Jamaican accent and so on, it really would reach your heart. So it is an honor to be here with you, Nana Farika. And I was moved by your Song of Freedom, by your tribute to Nani, by your tribute to Jamaicans overseas. And I thought the line I would remember most was, Jamaicans are a stone that Babylon buck him toward. I think there is wisdom in that. Now the dialectician, age between 9 and 80, the dialectician will forgive me when I say I will never make a long distance call in the same way again. And if you don't see me eating wedding cake and patty, you know why. Jamaica has been described as a God-blessed country. We have natural beauty all around us. If we pause to notice our hills, valleys, rivers, and beaches. It is Thank you, sir. You have stolen my line. But it's all right. So it is a natural beauty that makes tourism one of our leading sources of revenue. And sometimes, as Jamaicans, we don't really notice how beautiful the place is until we live outside. And then when we go back, we notice. In fact, when I was coming here, I was having a conversation with my wife about there was a competition in Jamaica not so long ago about which is the best festival song that they have had. I don't know if you heard about that competition. And the top three were Land of My Birth, Give Thanks and Praise, and I'll Never Leave You Again. And what I was asking my wife to check, because nowadays you can check anything in 5 minutes, or she can, was did these songs contain references to the beauty of Jamaica? And in the case of Land of My Birth, there is a line about beautiful pearl of the Caribbean Sea, and it talks about the hills, the plains, and the valleys. In Give Thanks and Praise, there's just one passing reference to Pretty Little Island. And we couldn't find I'll Never Leave You Again online. So I'm not sure if it has a line. I think it does. It must have a line about Jamaican beauty in there. Now, why this touched me a little is because of the point now about the natural beauty of the women from the point of view of the men. Because when I heard that Land of My Birth had won this competition, I said to myself, is that the favorite festival song for me? And I asked some of my friends, and we came to the view that Cherry O Baby was in the running. It was a tribute to the women of Jamaica. And my wife said to me in the car, or reminded me in the car, that there is a song that never won, but that was very much in the running, which is also a tribute to the beauty of the women of Jamaica. Oh, Chiquitita. You ever hear that one? You ever hear that one? I will not sing it tonight. I'm not having enough alcohol to do that. So in addition to our beauty, we have natural talent all around us. In athletics, I hardly need to remind this gathering that if you close your eyes for 9.5 seconds from the start of a 100 meters race for men, all you will see when you reopen them is Usain Bolt beating his chest through the tape. We have Shelley and Fraser Price, Veronica Campbell-Brown, and a host of other stars who have repeatedly made us proud. And speaking of making us proud, we are among the musical leaders, not only of the Caribbean, not only of North America, but of the world, the universe. At the Jamaica Independence celebrations in New York this year in August, they had as one of the guest entertainers a woman from Japan playing the saxophone. And she was playing just reggae music and playing Augustus Pablo. And I said to myself, think about it. Augustus Pablo is sitting at his house in Havendale, makes these tunes, and 30 years later, there is a woman in Japan sitting at her house, probably in Tokyo, saying, I have to follow this, I just have to follow it. That is the impact of Jamaican music in the world, for which we must all be very proud. We continue today to celebrate Tessa and Chin's recent success in the world. And we will watch her cross many more rivers of success. Similarly, we just have to say Jamaica, and people think about Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, Dennis Brown, and others who have led the way to the pantheon of musical genius. There is many others. As the generation following mine used to say, there is much for which we should say, big up Jamaica, big up. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, these are economically difficult times for most people in the United States and in Jamaica. With respect to Jamaica, the challenges force us to analyze the nature of the economic problems and to concentrate our efforts in the search for solutions. As members of the diaspora, Jamaicans, Caribbean nationals, and friends of Jamaica, you already know about the pressing circumstances in Jamaica. Our unemployment rate remains too high, in the range of 14 to 16%. Our indebtedness is substantial, with the ratio of our national debt to the country's gross domestic product at approximately 135%. We owe more than we are producing. A clear reminder that as a country, we have been spending more than we earn. It is hoped that over the next few years, we can reduce our indebtedness with a target of 90% for the debt to GDP ratio. Another problem, the value of the Jamaican dollar remains a cause for concern. And you know, if you have been tracking it, you see the dollar has been declining. These economic challenges and others, many of which are of long-standing vintage, require us to redouble our efforts to improve the lives of our people. Some months ago, the government of Jamaica concluded a set of loan arrangements with the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank, and the Inter-American Development Bank. In sum, Jamaica is in the process of receiving $1.9 billion in loan assistance to help us make ends meet. This type of assistance is much appreciated, and it helps to bring about stability to the Jamaican economy. At the same time, the government is aware of the need to ensure that, together with stability, the country will need to promote economic growth if there is to be improvement. In this regard, certain growth initiatives have been formulated and are being formulated, including the project on the development of a logistics hub in Jamaica. In brief, the Logistics Hub Initiative is an effort to take advantage of the expansion of the Panama Canal. With a greater volume of shipping passing through the Panama Canal, there will be opportunities for Jamaica to enhance the economic possibilities that arise from our country's strategic location. As part of the logistics hub idea, therefore, Jamaica is exploring various options, including the Goat Islands project, which has been much in the news, and the deepening of Kingston Harbour so that the Port of Kingston may accommodate larger vessels. There is also exploration of possibilities for the creation of a dry dock for the repair of shipping a special economic zone to add value for certain products, and facilities to break bulk for transshipment purposes. In addition to the possibilities arising from the logistics hub, the government also places value on the promotion of investor confidence in Jamaica. The idea that private investment serves as a major engine of economic growth is fully supported by Jamaica's international partners. By creating an investor-friendly environment, we can continue on the path of trying to break the unemployment problem in the country. But investors require stability, a fact that underlines the importance of the current arrangements with the IMF and other financial institutions. While the promotion of economic growth must be the central point of focus for all Jamaican governments, there are, of course, other issues of great social importance to be kept in mind. As members of the diaspora, Caribbean nationals, and friends of Jamaica, many of you are no doubt concerned, as I am, with the high level of crime and violence in Jamaica. This problem is stimulated by a variety of factors, including the international drug trade, gang violence, and a sense of alienation, especially among the poor and the dispossessed. Against this background, one challenge for us all must be to ensure that the society provides opportunities for our young people to develop their God-given talents and to stay away from destructive lives of crime. This is difficult but not impossible. Over the years, governments of Jamaica have committed themselves to promoting education as a means of personal and national development. I dare say that many of our success stories in North America and beyond are pure and honest-to-goodness products of the Jamaican educational system, and I know many of you are here tonight. Given the opportunity and the right circumstances, Jamaicans have shown that we can match the best in the world in terms of intellectual prowess. And the same is true for the coming generation at home. Many of our students excel at home and abroad and set strong examples for the rest of the society. We must celebrate this positive reality even as we acknowledge our national challenges. Finally, I wish to touch on two topical issues that concern our development as a people and the way we perceive ourselves. These are the two Ds: the deportation and diaspora. First, the question of deportation. Each year, more than 1,000 persons, Jamaicans, are deported to Jamaica from the United States of America. Something of the order of 100 persons per month, with about 75 sent to Jamaica on chartered flights. In some cases, the persons returned to Jamaica have little or no connection to the country any longer. And this creates serious difficulties for the deportees and for the country, especially in relation to persons with limited connection to the country. It is quite possible that deportation means that the individual will be pressed into long-term unemployment and ultimately into serious criminality. It should also be noted that the Jamaican government is not in a position to provide significant, if any, financial assistance to support deportees. Can anything be done to reduce the size of this problem? From time to time, Jamaica has argued that the U.S. deportation law should be changed to ensure that persons with limited connection to Jamaica are not deported to Jamaica. These are persons who, for example, came to the USA at age 2 and became involved in criminal activity at, say, age 22. The argument is that the socialization of these persons has been mainly, and in some cases even exclusively, in this country. Another line of approach concerns personal and group responsibility. The individual, must ultimately be responsible for his or her life. But at the same time, you and I must accept some degree of responsibility to assist others. And in this regard, I would encourage persons in the diaspora to assist young people here to stay on the straight and narrow path of law-abiding activities. Where possible, we should serve as role models for young persons in our communities and show them that the paths to righteousness and to success beyond the reach of illicit drugs, dons, and deception can be reached. This may help to place a dent in the rate at which Jamaicans are being deported. The second D, diaspora. And we say diaspora, or some say diaspora. I'm not sure. For the WAMU, how you say it? Diaspora. That's the Jamaican pronunciation, right? Diaspora. So the second D, diaspora. You know how many Jamaicans live in the United States? Mrs. Bowen recently did some research. It's about 1 million. It's 1 million. Not counting the grandchildren now, but just straight from Jamaica or children of Jamaican parents. 1 million. It's more, but some don't get counted. Maybe. The official US census. 2.5. Well, the official, counting the grandchildren is 2 point something. But the official US census says 1 million. Right? In mid-June of this year, but in either case it's a big number. In mid-June of this year, the government of Jamaica hosted the biennial diaspora conference at the Montego Bay Convention Center, Rose Hall. Many Jamaicans returned home to take part in discussions about national development and to seek business opportunities in a relaxing atmosphere. Many too took the opportunity to voice their concerns about various issues in Jamaica. On the side of the government, the conference served, among other things, as a means of explaining latest developments and to offer gratitude to the various groups and persons who contribute to Jamaica in so many ways. As the government gave thanks to persons who attended the conference, so too do I offer thanks to you all tonight. Given Jamaica's challenges, the country remains heavily reliant on the many family members and friends who, year after year, provide direct assistance to the country in the form of remittances, gifts of medical supplies, educational material, direct grants, scholarships, and otherwise. There are, for example, past students' associations that help to keep schools moving at good speed, even as state provisions are fully expended. There are business people who quietly lend support to various projects in local communities. There are medical doctors and nurses throughout the USA who participate in medical missions to Jamaica. There are church groups that contribute heavily to Jamaica. There are lawyers and social workers who provide cost-free assistance to persons in trouble. And the list is impressively long. For these and other gifts, I say thank you and acknowledge that contributions from the diaspora are motivated by a deep love for country and community. And before I close, I would just like to ask the members of the Jamaican Embassy to stand so that you can see them and know who they are. I will introduce them very briefly. Deputy Chief of Mission Marcia Corlaban has been our main point of contact with the organizers of this function. So you see us here. Mrs. Corlaban has been instrumental in that. Mrs. Julia Hyatt, as you heard earlier, is the alternate representative of Jamaica to the Organization of American States. And I can tell you, 2 nights ago I was with Mrs. Hyatt up to 1 a.m. because we were at the OAS dealing with the work of the OAS, and last night I think we were there till up to 9 p.m. 9:30 p.m. So if my speech sounds horribly put together, it's because I was at the OAS. And I'm saying it so my wife will know that's where we were. And Mrs. Ariel Bowen is our economic minister counselor and has to deal with trade issues and investment issues and all economic matters. So if you have an investment idea, Mrs. Bowen, Mr. Unique, Mr. Damien Unique is, he's the consular man, the passport man, the emergency certificate man, right, things like that. And in many instances, Mr. Unique is the person you will see. If you have a passport issue and you come in, he is the person you will see. So note Mr. Unique's face. Mrs. Cheryl Hamilton is our financial officer. She's the one who tells us that how much money we don't have and helps to manage our operations at the embassy. So if you have complaints about, if you have, let's see, how should I put it, Ms. Hamilton? If our independence function is not as big as you want it to be, and you want to make a contribution, Ms. Hamilton is there. Mrs. Gabe, Ms. Athleen Gabe, is assistant to the Deputy Chief of Mission and is very often a point of entry into the embassy as well. So very often if you call and you have an issue and you want to talk to one of the diplomatic officers, Mrs. Gabe will help to direct you. So again, you should note Mrs. Gabe's face, and she's of great assistance to us. Am I missing? My wife is not on the staff, but you heard that I really have 2 jobs, and I would just like to say publicly that my wife has been a pillar of strength in this affair that we have at the embassy. And has taken care of our 2 children in a new environment in a way that I could ask for no more. So then, we have had our ups and downs in Jamaica. From Manchonil to Miami, from Brownstown to Boston, from Discovery Bay to Delaware, from Galena to Gaithersburg, from Nygel to New York, from Falmouth to Philly, from Mobay to LA, from Kingston to Washington, D.C. This has been a hill and gully ride for Jamaica since independence. But we celebrate Jamaica, land we love, to the world. Thank you.